There is a new twist in the growing number of sexual misconduct allegations against comedian Bill Cosby. 55-year-old Judy Huth filed a lawsuit in California against Cosby, which alleges sexual battery and infliction of emotional distress. She claims the actor molested her in a bedroom at the Playboy Mansion in 1974 when she was just 15 years old. Huth is the latest woman to accuse Cosby and the first one since 2005 to file a lawsuit. Earlier, I spoke with former prosecutor Paul Henderson about this new lawsuit. Paul, welcome to Arise America. Thanks so much for being here with us. I want to start with the legal technicality. How is Judy Huth able to bring a suit against Bill Cosby a full 40 years after her alleged accusation against him?
Well, in California, we have an extended statute of limitations so that when you have recovered memories or when you have an incident that triggers incidents that occur in the future that you may have liability for, you can still bring a lawsuit. Just keep in mind that the ability to bring that lawsuit or to bring those criminal charges does not necessarily speak to the obvious need and the ability for a victim or for a plaintiff to bring those charges and prove the underlying charges as well.
So, Paul, this is what I want to know. Is it harder for the accuser to prove that something did happen 40 years or for the defendant to prove that something didn't happen 40 years ago?
Well, it's kind of a mixed bag. There has to be a showing to the court in order to move forward. But, you know, obviously in a case like this, the charges in and of themselves are controversial and may be damaging to someone with a lot of notoriety like Mr. Cosby himself. And so even when you have charges like this, and we've seen this in the past with charges involving large celebrities like Michael Jackson, there is a lot of pressure on them independently to settle these cases or make them resolve or go away just because they don't want the attention, they don't want the salacious stories, and they don't want whatever facts and circumstances are going to be brought out, including evidence that may allude to prior misconduct that diminishes their ability to continue to earn money or diminishes their reputation in the community. And so that's really what you see being juggled here. Those are the conversations that are taking place in both of the camps.
So do you think that Bill Cosby is likely to try to settle this case? We know in the past he's settled at least one other that we know of.
I think so, and I'll tell you why. Independently of whether or not there is independent evidence that the plaintiff can bring forward to prove this case, it's an underage child. There's certainly flags and questions being raised as to what a 15-year-old was doing at a Playboy Mansion while there was alcohol being served. But nobody, I'm sure, in the Cosby camp wants to have those questions either raised or answered because they affect his reputation. And so I would be very surprised if this case didn't resolve quickly and efficiently.
But Paul, let me ask you, I'm going to jump in there so I can make use of the time we have left. Isn't there an upside if this case does go to trial? Because finally, evidence will have to be presented. Wouldn't this work in Cosby's favor in some ways if it did go to trial?
If you are presuming that the incident didn't take place. So there's that. You still have to presume that there isn't some independent evidence or information that can be proven or shown that the incident did or did not take place. But to the degree there's any evidence, I think all of the story starts to come out, and that can harm a star. And these are some of the concerns and some of the things that get juggled when you evaluate either criminal charges or civil charges that get brought in a case like this. And I think both are on the table right now.
Yeah, whether this actually makes it to trial, I'm assuming there will be a deposition, and Cosby will have to answer the charges that this woman is making against him. Do you think this will induce Bill Cosby to finally speak publicly about this now, to answer these charges, or that we'll learn more through the deposition being made public?
I have to give you the legal answer, which is it depends. It's going to depend on whether or not what the evidence is, what kind of questions she'll be asking or presenting to him, whether or not she's going to pursue a criminal case or just try and pursue civil damages in this case. All of that matters in terms of how he's going to respond, and it's going to matter in terms of what he feels like he needs to do in order to both protect his reputation and to maintain or justify his innocence if, in fact, he can prove that he is innocent based on the allegations.
Yeah, a lot of twists and turns here. Paul Henderson. We'll have
Complicated.
to leave it right there. Thank you so much, Paul.
Sure, thanks for having me.
This is Arise America.